Yeah, K Flock, yeah, he facing 30. He's facing 30 years right now in the feds, 30 to life. He facing life right now in the feds for murder, all types of stuff. But he's innocent. You heard? And he's gonna beat that. Inshallah, he's gonna beat that. We got faith. But right now it's like I gotta hold it down, and I gotta be legit because you know what I'm saying. Like the feds is on him. That's my brother. Why they ain't taking a look at me just even a little bit? So I gotta make sure I move like that. I move extra on point.
Instead of me keep giving you money, you could have the same amount of money sitting around me. Like we could do whatever for me. I'd rather be all of us with watches over 500K for me, not just me, but 500K watches for me. Have them depending on me for me, looking for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it regardless for me, but I'd rather put them in a position for themselves to have it for me without needing nobody.
He be on song, man.
Man, if I was him, man, I'd be punching at the air and be like, yo, that nigga's lit right now, dog. Like, I don't even, it's probably impossible for you to explain to him how hot he is. Like, his shit is going crazy.
He gonna see when he come home. It's gonna be, I know, he gonna notice he gonna come home. First show, gonna be wicked.
But even you, though, and this is what like fucking blew my mind when I was like, you know, talking to you before we started this.
People, fans, think that him and D-Thing are cousins.
I don't even know who that thing is. Whatever. And he needs to stop saying we're related. I'm nowhere near related to you at all.
I don't know how the rumor transpired, but it was a rumor.
Nah, don't do that. That's not cool.
Nobody confirmed it.
I'm the mom and I'm confirming it. That's nowhere near related to me at the all.
29 de outubro estou em Pips, Nova York. Os manos sabem o que tá acontecendo. Sai daí, já.
യോ കണ്ടപ്പോൾ നിനക്ക് സന്തോഷമായിരുന്നോ? നീ ഇപ്പോൾ പുഞ്ചിരിച്ചു കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ് സഹോദര. കാലിയോടൊപ്പം തെരുവിൽ നിന്ന് ഇറങ്ങൂ. ഞാൻ ഇതിനകം സന്തോഷവതിയായിരുന്നു. നിനക്ക് എന്നെ തോന്നുന്നു. എനിക്ക് എന്നെ തന്നെയാണ് തോന്നുന്നത്. നമ്മളെല്ലാവരും മൊത്തത്തിൽ നീ എന്നെ അനുഭവിക്കുന്നത് പോലെയാണ് എനിക്ക് എന്റെ വയറ്റിൽ അല്പമിടാൻ തോന്നിയത്. ന്യൂയോർക്ക് പോലെ നമ്മൾ എല്ലാവരും അങ്ങനെയാണ്.
പക്ഷേ നമ്മൾ എല്ലാവരും അങ്ങനെയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് അവരെ കാണാൻ വേണ്ടി മാത്രം. നിഗയെ പോലെ അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാൻ ഗ്യാങ്ങുകളിൽ നിന്ന് എന്നെ തന്നെ വേർപെടുത്തുന്നത്. ന്യൂയോർക്കിൽ അത് ചെയ്യേണ്ട വഴിയാണെന്ന് ഞാൻ കരുതുന്നില്ല. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് പരാജയപ്പെടാൻ വേണ്ടി ഇത് ഇതിനകം സജ്ജീകരിച്ചതുപോലെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്നെ തോന്നുന്നു. ആ കുഴപ്പത്തിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ഉൾപ്പെടാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നില്ലെന്ന് ഞാൻ കരുതുന്നു.
K Flock sat in a federal courtroom watching surveillance footage loop on a screen that could decide the rest of his life. Every frame mattered. Every second was dissected. Prosecutors believed this was the moment everything would finally collapse for him. Then the jury spoke. He beat the most serious charge, the one that would have locked him away forever. But here's the part nobody saw coming. Even after surviving that moment, K Flock still walked out facing something almost just as devastating. 50 years. This wasn't just a case about a shooting anymore. It was about music, social media, and how fast success can turn into evidence. And what happened after the verdict may have hurt him more than the trial itself. Before courtrooms and indictments, there was Kevin Perez, a kid from the Bronx raised in an environment that didn't offer many exits. He was half Dominican, half Puerto Rican, growing up in a neighborhood where survival came before dreams. The Bronx has always been a breeding ground for hip-hop, but by the time Kevin started recording in 2020, something new had taken over. Bronx drill wasn't polished. It wasn't subtle. It was fast, aggressive, and deeply tied to real-life tension. When Kevin became K Flock, he didn't just rap over drill beats, he embodied them. His voice was raw, his energy felt dangerous, and his lyrics sounded like they were pulled straight from the streets around him. His first releases didn't creep into the scene, they exploded. Every drop gained more attention, more traction, and more eyes watching his every move. And that momentum was only building. But while the music was lifting him up, something else was forming in the background. Something far less forgiving. By late 2021, K Flock wasn't just another drill rapper buzzing online. He was officially industry recognized. His debut project shot to the top of the Heatseekers chart. Billboard named him Hip Hop Rookie of the Month. Labels were paying attention, collaborations were getting bigger. At just 18 years old, he was standing exactly where countless artists dream of reaching. Interviews compared him to Pop Smoke and King Von. Even established artists were publicly acknowledging his talent. Everything pointed toward a breakout run, the kind that changes your life forever. And then, without warning, it all stopped. One cold Thursday morning in December, the music took a backseat to real life. And the next headlines wouldn't mention charts or accolades. They'd mention a barbershop. December 16th, 2021. Just before 10 a.m. Outside a barbershop in Harlem's Hamilton Heights neighborhood, a confrontation unfolded that would permanently alter K Flock's future. Inside the shop was a 24-year-old man named Oscar Hernandez, waiting for a haircut. Surveillance footage later showed K Flock walking past the entrance. What happened next became the center of intense debate. According to authorities, K Flock entered the shop, exchanged words, then left. Hernandez followed. An argument happened outside. Prosecutors claimed K Flock turned back and fired. Hernandez was struck and later pronounced gone at the hospital. But the defense told a different story. They argued the footage showed Hernandez approaching first, that K Flock was followed, that what happened wasn't calculated, it was panic. Within days, the narrative split in two. One side called it a senseless act tied to street tension. The other insisted it was self-defense. A week later, K Flock surrendered himself. And while many thought this would be a straightforward case, they had no idea what was coming next. For more than a year, K Flock sat in custody waiting for his state case to move forward. During that time, something strange happened. His career didn't disappear. Music he had recorded before being locked up continued to chart. A feature with major artists climbed Billboard rankings. His name stayed alive even while he remained behind bars. But in February 2023, the situation shifted dramatically. Federal prosecutors stepped in and unsealed a sweeping indictment. This wasn't just about one incident anymore. This was RICO. Under federal law, RICO allows prosecutors to tie individuals to an entire pattern of alleged activity. If they could prove K Flock was part of an organization committing crimes, they could hold him responsible for more than just his own actions. The indictment accused him of being a leader within a Bronx-based group, connecting him to shootings, assaults, and financial schemes spanning multiple years. The barbershop incident became just one piece of a much larger case. At one point, the stakes were so high that prosecutors even considered the harshest possible outcome. And then they introduced something that would change how the trial was fought. This case wasn't built on witnesses alone. It was built on posts, captions, lyrics, and videos. Prosecutors didn't see K Flock's music as art. They treated it like a roadmap. Every bar was analyzed. Every Instagram post was framed as intentional messaging. They argued that his social media presence wasn't just promotion, it was recruitment. That building a following allowed him to expand influence. That lyrics referencing rivals weren't metaphor. They were admissions. Hashtags, captions, even selfie videos were introduced in court. Prosecutors claimed they showed intent, affiliation, and motive. The defense pushed back hard. They argued this wasn't justice. It was criminalizing expression. That drill rap exaggerated real life, the same way movies exaggerate violence. But the damage was already done. K Flock wasn't just defending his actions anymore, he was defending his entire identity as an artist. And by the time the trial began, he stood alone. When federal court opened in March 2025, K Flock was the only defendant who hadn't taken a deal. Everyone else had cooperated. He chose to fight. The prosecution painted him as a leader who used fame to fuel chaos. They presented cooperating witnesses, including individuals who claimed retaliation and coordination. The defense stayed focused on one key moment, the barbershop footage. They argued it clearly supported self-defense, that whatever prosecutors wanted the jury to believe, the video told its own story. After weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated. The verdict shocked nearly everyone. K Flock was found guilty on multiple serious counts: racketeering conspiracy, firearm offenses, and attempted acts tied to the enterprise. But on the most important charge, murder in aid of racketeering, the jury said no. They believed he acted in self-defense. That single decision saved him from a mandatory life sentence, but the case still wasn't over. Moments after the verdict, K Flock took to Instagram. What he posted spread instantly. To fans, it sounded like relief, like victory, like defiance. To prosecutors, it was something else entirely. They argued the post showed zero remorse, that it mocked the process, that it threatened cooperation, and they wasted no time adding it to their sentencing argument. Suddenly, the conversation shifted. This wasn't about what happened years ago anymore. It wasn't about the shooting that started it all, or even the months he spent behind bars waiting for a trial to begin. The focus had turned to K Flock's actions right now. The words he posted, the videos he shared, the way he carried himself online. All of it was being scrutinized, dissected, and used as evidence in a court of law. Social media, once a tool to build a career, had become a courtroom battlefield. Sentencing dates moved. Lawyers filed motions, debated legal strategies, and tried to anticipate what would happen next. And then, the government submitted its sentencing recommendation, a number that stunned everyone paying attention. 50 years. 50 years for a 21-year-old who only a few years ago had been celebrated as one of hip-hop's brightest young stars. To put it bluntly, if the judge follows that recommendation, Kay Flock could spend nearly all of his adult life behind bars, facing the consequences of actions that began when he was just a teenager. But Kay Flock's situation didn't happen in a vacuum. Across the country, drill artists have been finding themselves in similar legal crosshairs. In Atlanta, Young Thug's RICO trial became a national spectacle, showing how a record label could be treated as a criminal enterprise. Brooklyn saw its top drill artists indicted, with prosecutors introducing music videos as evidence of real-world shootings. Even Chicago, the birthplace of drill, has faced similar scrutiny, where lyrics and visuals were dissected as admissions of criminal activity. The pattern is unmistakable. Prosecutors see drill music not as art, but as documentation, while defense attorneys argue it's storytelling, an exaggeration of life on the streets. What makes Kay Flock's case especially alarming is a new twist: the idea that online engagement itself can be considered evidence of wrongdoing. Likes, comments, shares, and the growth of a following, all of it can theoretically be connected to criminal intent. If this theory holds, any artist building a social media presence could face the same level of scrutiny. Suddenly, what was once a platform for expression has the potential to become a legal trap. In 2025, bars don't just go viral, they can go on record, and they can follow you for the rest of your life. Even with the partial victory of beating the murder charge, the reality is sobering. Kay Flock still faces decades for the convictions that remained. He waits, uncertain, knowing that the court has already decided much of his future. Meanwhile, one life was lost in the barbershop incident, leaving a family forever changed, mourning a son they will never see again. And on the other side, a young artist who had once seemed destined for fame may lose everything he worked for before fully understanding the cost of street credibility and social media influence. This isn't just a story of guilt or innocence. It's a story of how quickly success can crumble. It's about how social media, once a place to connect with fans, can also serve as a permanent record of your life, your words, and your mistakes. The line between music and reality has never been thinner, and the stakes for artists have never been higher. Kay Flock remains in federal custody, waiting for sentencing on the very day that changed his life 4 years ago. From Billboard's Rookie of the Month to facing the possibility of half a century behind bars, his story is a stark warning. This is what happens when the streets and the studio collide. And in this era, what you post online can live forever, long after the music stops.